Hello everyone, this is Debbie Henderson from Debbie's Designs. Welcome to my afternoon tea time on a card. Hello everyone. I'm just going to wait for everyone to find me. Oh, there's a big glare on my stamp set. Let me see if I can put something underneath that. There, that's better. So hello everyone, I'm so glad you're here. This is my weekly afternoon tea time on a card. If you guys are watching this after the live video, I do these weekly on my Facebook Stamp and Ink Designs group, so make sure you join us. So today I'm going to be using the Forever Fern stamp set. This is for a technique I'm going to be showing you. I'm just using the stamp set today, but just so you'll know, you can also get the dies. You can see it's a big set of 14 dies. So let me show you what else I'm going to be using. I'm so glad you guys are all finding me. Hello. Okay, I'm going to be using the Fluid 100 watercolor paper. And I've got a water spritzer. It's got water in it. Polished dots. The Fresh Freesia open weave ribbon. Now, the color I'm using, for those that were on the Facebook page a couple days ago, I gave you guys a poll to go by. I gave you a choice of 3 sets of colors. So let me go over the colors that I had put on the poll. And as you can see, this is the one that won. I had Petal Pink, Flirty Flamingo, and Magenta Madness. My second combination was Crumb Cake, Soft Suede, and Early Espresso. And the one I'm using today, because you guys all love purples, and that had the highest votes, Fresh Freesia, Highland Heather, and Gorgeous Grape. So you can see here I have Highland Heather for the card base, 5.5 by 8.5, scored at 4 1/4. So let me just go ahead and press on the scored line. I have a scrap piece of Highland Heather. This is from the In Color paper stack. This measures 5 1/4 by 4. And I have a piece of the watercolor paper, and all I did was cut it in half at 3.5. So it actually measures 3.5 by 5. And let me bring in, oh, I've got one more thing. The foam adhesive sheets. This, you've heard me call this before. I call this my super jumbo stamping dimensional. It's the same height as our dimensionals, and I love using this stuff on watercolor paper, especially because you know how when this gets wet it kind of warps and curls, and this fixes that. Now, good news, since you guys, there was votes on all 3 sets of colors. I'm going to start out with the one that you guys picked. I'm going to create the card. I'm going to show you the technique with the other sets of colors, just to show you a variation of what happens when I do this technique. So here are the cards I'm going to show you. I made 2. This is what it looks like. This is called the wet stamping technique. So you can see that the same color, this leaf right here was stamped with Granny Apple, and this color is Granny Apple. I'm going to show you how to spread all of this watercolor look on the background. And then we dry it and stamp over it. And I did the same thing. Now this one here, so I should give you the colors in case you want to replicate this one. It's Granny Apple Green, Garden Green, and Shaded Spruce. And this one is Pacific Point, Bermuda Bay, and Coastal Cabana. Isn't that pretty? So let me show you. I'm going to start out with the color that you guys chose. Now, let me roll up my sleeves. I'm going to dig out all 3 of these ink pads. So I'm going to go, you can either go from light to dark or dark to light. So there's my 3 ink pads. I'm going to bring a towel over because we're going to be dealing with water. And here's my watercolor paper. Now, the best way to do this is you have to use a lot of water. I spritz one side quite liberally, then I flip it over and do the other side. This helps with the curling. Now this one here, I'm going to add a lot of water. It's going to be completely saturated. I'm also going to bring in my pad of paper. Now this is very watery. And I'm going to be using this stamp image this time. I'm going to start out with the Fresh Freesia. I'm going to stamp on my scrap first. And I'm going to do that. Highland Heather is next. And you're going to see how the color starts to spread. And this is, did I say Gorgeous Grape on that one? Yes, this is Gorgeous Grape. Now what I'm going to do, because this takes a while to dry, I normally let it dry on its own, but I'm going to use my heat tool. I'm just going to hold it up quite a bit so it doesn't mess up my coloring too much. But you're going to see as it dries, it's going to spread. It takes a little bit for that to dry. And of course, the darker your color, the more vivid it's going to be. And because these colors are so much lighter, I might have to, I think I'm going to stamp those one more time. So let me get, this one here is quite light. I'm just going to add a little bit more water. I usually stamp off, but I'm going to try doing it without stamping off because the colors are so light. There we go. Okay, here we go again. Where's my on and off switch? So you can experiment with, this is kind of the ombre look. It goes from light to dark or dark to light. You could use different color variations. Now this one is almost dry. It just looks like 3 big globs right now. And I'm actually going to do the other 2 color combinations, and hopefully while I assemble my card, the other 2 will dry on their own. Okay, now I'm going to flip this over just to take the curl out. You're going to see that it's going to flatten out all on its own. Okay, now we're going to take the same branch image and we're going to stamp over the ink that we just dried. So let me start out with the Gorgeous Grape. There's that one. Highland Heather. And then the Fresh Freesia. Okay, I'm going to bring that up so you guys can see it closer. Look how neat that is. So it's got the watercolored background underneath and then the clear stamped image over the top. So let me set this one aside. I'm going to do this 2 more times. So this time, let's go with our brown shade. So Crumb Cake, Soft Suede, and Early Espresso. And I think I'll do the same that I did because the colors are so light. On the first one especially, I won't stamp off on that one. Now let me get my watercolor paper. And again, I'm going to spritz a little bit on the back. This is going to be the back side, just enough to get it wet. And we're going to, whoops, I sprayed my M&Ms, you guys. I was holding that wrong. I'm probably going to have some runny M&Ms. Okay, and this is very, very, very wet. Hopefully I have enough for the last one. Okay, this time I'm going to use this small branch image. Here's the Early Espresso, Soft Suede, and Crumb Cake. This one I'm going to actually stamp it without stamping off. So there's that one. I'm going to let that dry on its own, and I'm going to go ahead and do the third sample. Let me get rid of these ink pads. And our next three colors are Petal Pink, Flirty Flamingo, and Magenta Madness. For those of you guys that love pink. Now, let me see if I can, hopefully I have enough water to do this third one. There's the back side. I do have a spray bottle if I run out of water, but I think I'm going to be good. Oh, right to the last drop. Okay, this time I'm going to use this humongous branch. I'm going to start out with Magenta Madness. I'm going to stamp off. Oh, that one is going to be gorgeous. Look how much that one's running. Then I'm going to jump to Flirty Flamingo. I'm going to stamp off. And then Petal Pink. And this one I'm not going to stamp off because it's such a light color. Okay, so there's what those three look like. So I'm going to go ahead and finish card number 1, and then hopefully this will be semi-dry. So let me bring the other cards back in so you guys can see what I'm doing. So there's those two. So I'm going to go ahead and glue the in color designer paper to the card front. Then I'm going to bring my super duper jumbo dimensional. I'm going to cut this at 3 1/4, quarter of an inch smaller than my watercolor paper. And then what I did with my other one, I just trimmed about 1/4 of an inch off each edge. I didn't even measure. And you're going to see how, you can see how warped this is right now. By adding this to the back, it's going to straighten that right out. Look how nice and flat that is. I love this stuff. Actually, I need to buy more because I think I only have one sheet left. I'm going to put this over to the left, 1/4 of an inch from the edge of the designer paper. And then I'm going to add my ribbon. And let me see, I need to shorten this up a little bit so I don't waste it a lot. I put my roll in backwards. I feel like I'm doing this backwards. Okay, now I'm going to tie my bow. Oh, you guys are laughing at my M&Ms. I don't have time to eat while I'm stamping with you. I do when I stamp by myself, though. Don't they look good? I should bring them in here to entice you guys. Okay, there's my bow. I refilled this today, so I have been eating it. Okay, now I'm going to bring this to the bottom a little bit, and I'm actually going to add a glue dot because I don't want that ribbon sliding off. So I'm just going to add a glue dot under the knot, just like that. Now I need to do my sentiment, which is just the hello. I'm going to use Gorgeous Grape. And I'm just going to trim that. I'm just going to eyeball. Don't you like hearing that for a measurement? I'm just going to eyeball. And dimensionals, of course. Let me see. I gotta just dab on my little brown over here. It's running towards the middle. If you find that when you're doing this that there is a lot of water, like this one too has a lot of water, I'm just going to dab that. It's just going to let it dry quicker. Okay, now we're going to add the hello, the top right hand corner. And then lastly, we're going to add some of this beautiful bling. Okay, so there's 3 cards just to show you the difference. Let's go ahead. I'm just going to have to hit this just a tiny bit with my heat tool. Hopefully it'll come on. Yep, it does. Sometimes when I use it for too long, it doesn't come back on. It doesn't come back on for a while sometimes. So this did dry pretty quickly. Okay, let me just make sure the back is dry. Almost done. Just do the back. Okay, let's go ahead and do the brown first. Let me put them in order. Crumb cake, soft suede, and early espresso. And just going to clean my stamp. So I'm going to start out with crumb cake, soft suede. I'm not even cleaning my stamp because I'm going from lighter to darker brown, so it doesn't really matter. So look how neat this one came out too. It's beautiful. Now let's go ahead and do the pink. Now which stamp? This one here. So on this one I've got magenta, flirty flamingo, and petal pink. I'm just going to clean off my stamp. We're going to start out with the petal pink, flirty flamingo. Oh, beautiful. Look at that, you guys. And magenta madness. Okay, let me move all of these stamp pads out of the way, and then I'll show you every single one that I did with you. Oh, I forgot to do my little dots. Hold on. See, I got little dots here on the top. I'll just have to be super careful. Okay, there's the purple card. Now I'm going to do the pink one. Okay, and there's the pink one. One more. We're going to do soft suede with this one. I kind of chose the middle color on these. There's that one. Okay, let me put them all here so you guys can see. These are the ones that are completed cards. And then these are the other 2 that I did. So which one's your favorite? I know you guys all picked the purple when I did the poll. They're all beautiful. And there's so many other color combinations you guys can do. Now, I had company all afternoon and I just had time to come here and get my live going. So I did not have time to dig out a door prize. So I'll dig something out of my stash for a winner. So you guys, the first winner, and I need to pick some numbers. I just barely had time to get on live, you guys. So let me pick some numbers. Let's see. Okay, so the first set of, the first gift or the first door prize will be one of these cards, probably the purple one since you guys all picked purple. Oh, I can see you guys are picking different colors that you like. It is a hard choice, isn't it? So you guys need to comment with the word hello. If you comment with the word hello, the first name I pick will be for the card. And I'll throw in these 2 samples to go with it. And the second name I pick will be something from my stash since I didn't get to bring it out for you. So Regina Grant. So Regina Grant, you're going to win something from my stash. I had number 17 and 27. So thanks so much for joining me, everyone. I hope you enjoyed this technique and I hope you'll give it a try. Let me write Regina's name down before I forget. Regina. And I will be live again on Friday on my Debbie's Designs business page on Facebook at 7 p.m. And I posted the wrong theme. I'm actually going to be doing Paper Pumpkin March alternative projects. So make sure you check in with me on Friday at 7 p.m. Have a good week, everyone. Thanks for coming to visit. Bye-bye.